guys, welcome back to another video, and well, today we're doing a video I originally was not going to do, but I got a couple of comments about it, so I decided, you know what, I might as well do a video about it. But anyways, last video we talked about the Velociraptor being confirmed and the T-Rex's full body design. And in this video, there's actually, from the same merch shop where we got the confirmation and images for those two species, there's also one for Triceratops. But I didn't decide to cover because, well, I'll talk about it a little more in the video, but anyways, you know, we've had these older Dino Dex Triceratops designs, which something weird is that they seem to be a bit darker and also have blue spots, which is weird since they typically keep the same color of the past species the same whenever they get redesigned. And Triceratops has had yellow and orangey red stripes in patterns pretty much this whole time. And here's another image of it doing a few different things, and then here's one kind of like a growth chart for a Triceratops. But anyways, here is the new design, which this is a stylized version of the new design, so it's not going to look just like this, but this should give us a generally good idea. And looking at side by side by the original piece of art, yes, Triceratops is going to have blue markings, which is pretty interesting because Tyrannosaurus is also getting some blue markings, just not to the same extent as Triceratops is getting. All the red markings have been removed and replaced with blue markings on the frill and on the back, which I don't know why. Also, it seems that it might have a darker orangey color, though. That one might be a little bit more up in the air, but yeah. Also, another thing, it seems that the Triceratops is going to have much longer horns, since both of these designs have much longer horns, which of course could just be a style choice for these pieces, but we actually don't know. Generally, yeah, this is just the Triceratops design. And here's the Dino Dana, the movie Triceratops design, which is, I'm assuming it's going to look similar to this, but this is the most recent Triceratops we've gotten, which is honestly, who knows how different it's going to look for this Triceratops design. I kind of assume the Dino Dex one is going to just be this Triceratops, or be this one just with some more colors on it. But here's just a comparison of all the Triceratops we've had in the past, and I bring this up for an important reason. First, in the top left corner, we have the Dino Dan Triceratops. The original colors being yellow with orangey red markings. Honestly, in Trek's Adventures, the markings are a little bit more red, and also in some scenes of Dino Dan, they're also a little bit more red, but this image kind of has a more of an orange color. Then we move on to the Dino Dana design, which this render actually has it darkened a little bit, but usually it's a really bright orange with some kind of pinkish red markings on it. So still the reddish markings and the yellow still. But once we get to Dino Dana in the movie, something interesting is those colors began to fade, which the colors became more of a pastel kind of color on the Dino Dana Triceratops, but the Dino Dana the movie Triceratops completely gets rid of the red colorations. And now it seems that the colors are coming back except it's blue, which is weird. You may be wondering, saying maybe they just decided to change the colors of Triceratops, but if we go to T-Rex, which we have originally on the top left corner, we have Dino Dan T-Rex, which is a yellowy orange, like a yellowy brownish green coloration with orange stripes. The Dino Dana one is more of a brown color with orange stripes. But then the Dino Dana, the movie one, is actually more of a greenish brown color with yellow feathering. And now moving on to the Dino Dex T-Rex, it seems like it's going to have even more of a greenish color, except it's going to have more of the browns and some light tans around the face and underside and towards the feet and probably the underside of the tail. But another thing is the feathers are actually changing to a dark brownish, almost black coloration, which is interesting. It's getting rid of the orange stripes, but it does have a few feathers on the tail and also a kind of a ring of feathers on its back that are kind of a tannish color with blue spots, which is interesting. And then we move on to the Velociraptor, which the Velociraptor is not quite the same as the other two, since technically the Velociraptor is only making its debut in Dino Dex, but it has appeared a couple times in the show, just not as an actual 3D model, and also on the Dino Dan website had a design, though it was just a recolored Dromaeosaurus. But yeah, seeing that first original Dino Dan design, again, it has a bluish color, kind of a gradient of bluish to a bluish green to more of another like aquamarine tealish color. Then we move on to another different version of the Velociraptor on the website, which is the 2D version. And yeah, this Dino Dan one actually has about the same feathers in the same place, but also yellow markings on the tips of the feathers, and another white underbelly like the original. But then we move on to Trek's Adventures, where I couldn't find an image of it, which this is one of the images of the Velociraptor, but this is the image from the field guide. But there is an episode where they have a video game where the Velociraptor looks pretty much identical to this. I think the only difference is the body's a little bit darker, but besides that, it looks identical to the Trek's Adventure. I forgot to put the name next to it, but yeah, Trek's Adventures Velociraptor, which actually gets rid of the feathers for some reason. Even though it barely had any feathers to start off with, it got rid of them. But now we see Dino Dex, which this one has changed the most, where it only has the blue coloration on the hands, feet, and probably inner arms, while the rest of the feathers are all white with a brownish, but kind of tannish brown color scheme, and the face being completely yellow. Which, this is weird. Why are they changing the color designs of the dinosaurs? Because one thing that has stayed consistent throughout this series is that the actual designs may change, but the colorations would stay pretty much the same. So, honestly, I'm kind of curious to see why they changed the design so drastically. Velociraptor makes sense since technically it's making its debut, and the other two species that are making their debut or have made their debut from the website have actually had their colors changed minorly, but they're usually just extra colors added onto them. Well, it's kind of weird, though, so that kind of actually makes sense why that's happening, but it is kind of weird that the Triceratops and T-Rex are changing colors. The T-Rex generally is honestly also really surprising since the original color scheme is a very iconic T-Rex design, yet now they are completely changing it. And the Triceratops also I find strange that they're completely getting rid of the reddish colored markings and replacing them with blue. So, yeah. Also, I don't have an image or a slide up for this, but it's kind of weird that they're giving everything blue markings now, because originally Dromaeosaurus just had blue spots all over it, but now everything's getting it. I don't know. Kind of weird, but just something to take into consideration. But anyway, this is the Triceratops design for Dino Dex, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.